This Ukrainian Su-27 Flanker schemes the Earth at 2:40 p.m. local time. At just 500 feet above Kharkiv Oblast's rolling hills, the pilot battles turbulence while glancing at the iPad mounted on his console. The screen shows GPS coordinates for two concrete barracks in Petrivka village, housing a Russian motorized rifle company, 120 soldiers unaware of what's coming. But flying this low has triggered a chain reaction that could end this mission in the next 42 seconds. Under each wing, a BRU-61 rack holds 4 GBU-39 small-diameter bombs. The American weapon system was never meant for Soviet hardpoints. Ukrainian technicians welded custom adapters, but the intense low-level turbulence is loosening them. Every air pocket sends vibrations through the makeshift mounting system. The 4 bombs create parasitic drag, draining energy and guzzling fuel. His AL-31F engines burn 15% more fuel than planned. The pilot does quick calculations, enough fuel to reach Petrivka, release, and return, barely. The iPad screen flickers between GPS and GLONASS satellite signals, causing a 50-meter drift in target coordinates. Flying at 500 feet and 450 knots, the pilot can't spare a hand to fix it. He'll correct it during the climb. Below the aircraft, the L-203 Gardenia ECM pod works overtime, blasting noise across X-band frequencies. This 1980s tech battles 21st century radars, but every second it delays detection gets him closer to the release point, if he makes it there first. 120 kilometers northeast, the Russian 96L6E cheeseboard radar sweeps the horizon. This three-dimensional search radar can track targets up to 300 kilometers. But the pilot uses terrain masking, flying so low that hills and ground clutter hide his radar signature. Every few seconds, he crests a ridge, and the radar catches a fleeting glimpse. Inside his headset, the SPO-15 Beryoza radar warning receiver chirps intermittently. The Soviet-era RWR can't tell if he's being casually scanned or actively targeted. That uncertainty could be deadly, but the real threat emerges at 60 kilometers. The S-400's 92N6E Gravestone fire control radar will take over from the cheeseboard. When that happens, the pilot has seconds before a 48N6E missile locks on. His only defense is staying below the radar horizon, but that means navigating the thick, turbulent air near the ground. 7 kilometers from the pop-up point, the pilot runs through the checklist: master arm switch on, weapon status checked, 3 green lights, 1 flickering amber on station 4, a known grounding issue with the Ukrainian adapter. Release parameters are loaded but need verification. Turbulence makes reading instruments like writing during an earthquake. At Petrivka Military Base, the duty officer monitors routine radar tracks. The cheeseboard operator reports intermittent contacts that appear and vanish, likely ground clutter or civilian traffic near the border. The base's Panzer S one-point defense system sits offline for scheduled maintenance. Inside the 2 barracks, soldiers relax, 46 miles from Ukraine, deep in Russian territory. What could possibly reach them here? The SPO-15 shifts from chirps to a steady warble. A new threat from bearing 195 degrees, an SA-21 Growler acquisition radar from Belgorod has spotted him during a ridge crossing. No more hiding. The pilot slams the throttles to full power and pulls the stick. Those 42 seconds may be his last. The pilot pulls 4.5 GS as the Su-27 rockets skyward at a 60-degree angle. The horizon vanishes, replaced by endless blue sky. In seconds, he trades the safety of low altitude for the vulnerability of climbing into every radar beam in western Russia. But physics demands altitude. The GBU-39s need height to reach their target. The math is clear: reach 28,000 feet in 42 seconds. Inside the cockpit, master caution lights glow like a Christmas tree. The Su-27's fly-by-wire system protests the aggressive maneuver with 4 250-pound American bombs skewing the center of gravity. The aircraft wasn't built for this, nor was the pilot, who fights to keep his breakfast down as G-forces pin him to the ejection seat. His left hand works the throttles, his right grips the stick, feeling the aircraft balk and resist. the SPO-15 screams its loudest warning yet. 20 kilometers behind, a 48 N6E surface-to-air missile launches on a pillar of flame. It will climb to 35,000 feet, then dive at Mach 12. But missiles follow physics too. At the climb's apex, the pilot enters a fleeting kinematic dead zone where the missile's motor burns out before its terminal dive. Timing must be perfect. At 25,000 feet, the left AL-31F engine surges, its compressor stalling in thin air, confused by the off-design flight with external stores. Muscle memory kicks in, left throttle back to 95%, matching the right. The surge clears, but it costs precious altitude. Through the HUD, he watches the numbers climb, 26,000, 26,500. The missile is 15 seconds from impact. Ice crystals form on the canopy as the Su-27 punches through 27,000 feet. The pilot needs visual confirmation of altitude before release, but frost obscures everything except a small patch scraped clear with his glove. Through it, he sees the critical detail, the artificial horizon showing wings level. Almost there. The weapons panel shows trouble, 3 green lights, 1 amber. Bomb 4's arming circuit has a fault, a recurring issue with the Ukrainian adapter's grounding. The pilot toggles the master arm switch. Still amber. No time to troubleshoot. He'll release it hot, trusting the bomb's internal logic to arm after separation. At 28,000 feet, he levels off for 3 seconds, letting the weapon's computer calculate release parameters. The iPad, now steady in smooth high-altitude air, shows green triangles over the target buildings. The system has a solution. Behind him, the SA-21 missile hits 33,000 feet, its seeker head searching. The AP-50 chaff dispensers fire automatically, blooming thousands of false targets. But chaff needs maneuvering to work. The pilot pickles the bombs in sequence. 1 and 2 leave the left pylon with a soft thunk. Half a second later, 3 and 4 depart the right. The amber light on bomb 4 turns green the moment it separates, the circuit completing through disconnection. 4 GBU-39s are now in flight, their diamondback wings unfolding as they glide toward 2 buildings full of unsuspecting Russian soldiers. The instant the last bomb clears, the pilot shoves the stick forward into a brutal negative G dive. The altimeter spins like a slot machine, trading altitude for survival. Behind him, the SA-21 missile reaches its apex, its seeker hunting a target now plummeting earthward. By the time it tips to pursue, the Su-27 dives through 15,000 feet, below the missile's engagement envelope. The missile self-destructs, scattering expensive fragments across empty farmland. The pilot's part may be done, but the mission continues. As the pilot dives for safety, 4 American smart bombs play a deadly game of physics. The GBU-39s spread into attack formation, each carrying 36 pounds of explosives across 46 miles of Russian airspace. Their diamondback wings provide a 15-to-1 glide ratio, traveling 15 meters forward for every meter of altitude lost. But first, they must navigate an invisible battlefield of electronic warfare. 30 kilometers from Petrivka, an R-330 ZIL electronic warfare vehicle extends its spiral antennas, targeting GPS frequencies with noise to confuse American weapons. Inside each GBU-39, the GPS receiver detects the jamming in switches to the encrypted L5 frequency, but L5 is less accurate, increasing the circular error probable from 3 feet to 10 feet. For a building, that's still effective, for a specific room, maybe not. Bomb 2 loses GPS entirely 90 seconds into flight. Its inertial navigation system takes over, but INS accuracy degrades over time, with an error of 15 meters and growing. The bomb's flight computer runs a Kalman filter algorithm, comparing known GPS data against INS data, rejecting corrupted signals. Without satellite updates, it's partially blind. A Russian Ka-52 attack helicopter rises into the glide path on a routine patrol, unaware of 4 precision weapons closing at 380 miles per hour. The lead bomb's radar altimeter detects the helicopter as a collision threat, commanding a 5-degree course correction. The formation parts like water around a stone, passing 200 meters on either side of the oblivious helicopter. The pilot continues his patrol, never knowing he dodged a deadly needle. At 8,000 feet, the bombs hit a 35-knot crosswind from the west, pushing them toward apartment blocks east of the military base. Each bomb's tail actuators control deflection surfaces, working overtime to correct course, but they max out at 15 degrees. If the wind strengthens, they'll drift. Bomb 3 struggles most, its actuators vibrating at their limits. 8 kilometers from the target, a TOR-M2U radar paints the bombs. The operator sees 4 small, high subsonic returns descending. His training suggests birds, geese have a similar radar cross-section, but geese don't fly in formation at 400 miles per hour. He tags the contacts and reports them. By the time the chain of command processes it, it's too late. The electronic warfare intensifies. The ZIL system ramps up power, but the GBU-39's beam steering antennas reject jamming signals in a digital chess match at light speed. Bomb 2 reacquires GPS lock, its 30-meter error refining as the Kalman filter pulls it back on course. 2 minutes to impact, the bombs descend through 5,000 feet, invisible and silent from the ground. Inside the eastern barracks, soldiers play cards and debate football. In the western building, dinner is served, someone gripes about cold borscht. At Petrivka's command post, the duty officer processes the TOR-M2U report, for objects matching precision-guided munitions, bearing 270 degrees, 5 kilometers, in closing. He slams the alert button, sirens wailing. But Newton's laws are unforgiving, objects in motion stay in motion. The bombs are coming, and no alarm can stop them. The Panzer S-1 crew chief drops his coffee, sprinting to his station. The system is down for maintenance, its computers cold, radar silent. Startup takes 45 seconds minimum, he is less than 30. The 1R-21 radar spins up, searching for targets it should have tracked minutes ago. The twin Tu-38M autocannons roar, hydraulics screaming as 30mm barrels slew skyward. The fire control computer struggles to track 4 football-sized objects moving at 380 miles per hour, already too close for missiles. The 57 × 10 to the power of 6 surface-to-air missiles are useless, they need 1 to 2 kilometers to arm. Chaos erupts at Petrivka. Soldiers spill from buildings, some diving for ditches, others frozen in confusion. The Panzer's radar barely acquires the targets, unable to separate the 4 close returns. The computer engages the formation center, both autocannons firing 5,000 rounds per minute. The sky fills with metal, but the GBU-39's tiny radar cross-section evades tracking. Cannon rounds miss by 30 meters. At 500 feet, Bomb 3 overcomes the crosswind in a pocket of stable air, its control surfaces pulling it back on course. All 4 bombs pierce the defensive fire. The Panzer's cannons traverse frantically, chasing targets already passed. Terminal phase begins. At 14 hours 51 minutes and 3 seconds, the first GBU-39 punches through the eastern barracks roof like a 250-pound needle. Its hardened steel nose cone penetrates 2 floors of concrete before the FMU-152 fuse triggers. Deep inside, 36 pounds of AFX-757 detonate, creating a 5,000 psi overpressure wave at 5 kilometers per second. Concrete liquefies, steel vaporizes. The building's facade explodes outward, windows and walls turning into projectiles. 17 seconds later, Bomb 2 hits the western section of the same building, both within 6 feet of programmed coordinates. The already dying structure collapses into its footprint like a demolished hotel. The western barracks take bombs 3 and 4 nearly simultaneously. The first penetrates the main entrance, detonating in the central stairwell where soldiers flee for non-existent exits. The second punches through the roof center. 72 pounds of explosives detonate within a second, their overpressure waves combining to disintegrate the building. Walls blow outward in a perfect flower of destruction. In 30 seconds, 2 reinforced concrete barracks vanish. Every Russian military base within glide range now faces a choice: move or be destroyed. Goodbye for now.